Welcome back, fifth grade. This one's for you. We're going to be taking a look at how to round fractions today. Some of what we're doing will make you think back to last week when we were working on things and maybe even the week before. We're going to be using a number line to help us for today. So we're going to read our first example and see what we need to do here. A poison dart frog is 2 inches long. This is equal to 2/12 of a foot. They want to know if 2/12 is closer to 0, 1/2, or 1/2. So what we're going to do first is we're going to put out a number line, okay? It's going to start at 0, it's going to have a half on it, and it's also going to go all the way to 1/2. If we're dealing with the fraction 2/12, this number line needs to be split up into 12 pieces. So, let's see, let's move the 0 down a little bit here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, if we're splitting up this number line into 12 pieces, each one of these is going to be a 12th, right? So this would be 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, and so on. Now we get to the 1/2 mark here. As we were numbering our sections across here, we got all the way up to 5/12. Well, we know that 1/2 in this number line is the same thing as 6/12. Okay, that's going to help us later when we're trying to figure out where this fits. So this is really the same thing as 6/12. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and this would be 12/12, or you have 12 pieces out of the 12 possible. So we need to think about where our fraction would fit. So if we're looking at this number line and we need to go to 2/12, here it is. By graphing it on a number line, we can see, is it closer to 0, which is over here, 1/2, which is here, or 1/2, which is here. Well, just looking at this fraction, we can see that 2/12 is only 2 spots away from 0. So when you're answering this question and it says which number, 0, 1/2, or 1, is 2/12 closest to, well, it's closest to 0. So here on your paper, you're going to put the 0 in. The next part says, so the length of a poison dart frog is closest to 0 feet. They've given you a little infographic here at the bottom to kind of show you, do you want to round down? In this case, this fraction rounded down, right? It rounded down to 0. If it's really close to 0, it's going to round down. If it's right about the halfway point, it's going to be closest to a half. If it's more than a half, it's going to round up to that whole number. All right? Let's take a look at the back of this. See what we need to do here. So they want us to round 4/9 the same way. So let's start with writing that fraction over here on the side. This 9ths in the denominator tells us that our number line is going to have 9 pieces to it, right? Okay, so I've done 9 pieces on my number line because this denominator is 9. So this is 1/9, 2/9, 3/9, and this is 9/9 because it's the whole, right? Now, this one's a little trickier because that number line spot for a half doesn't fall exactly in the middle. It would actually be right here. So 1/2 of 9 is 4.5, so it's really right there. So that's the halfway mark right there. So this is 1/2. I'm just going to draw that line down there so it's easier to see. This is our 0, this is our 1. Let's go ahead and put our fraction on this number line and see what it's closest to. 4/9. Well, we've labeled it. Here it is. You can clearly see that 4/9 is closest to 1/2. So you're going to take that and fill it in these boxes right here. Really close to 4.5, so it's close to the halfway mark. All right, we graphed it on the number line and that helped us. Let's do one more. Down here on the guided practice, it wants us to graph each fraction on the number line. Well, it's the same thing we've been doing. Here's our new fraction. They want us to graph 5/6. That means there's going to be 6 slots on our number line. There's the 1, there's the 0. There's my 6 pieces because of that denominator. Go ahead and label it. Doesn't take very long to do this, but sure does give you a good visual for what that looks like. So if I'm going to graph 5/6, here it is. Here is halfway, so 1/2. Here is 1/2, and here's the 0. Well, what's this closest to? It's really close to 1. So 5/6, this is a new little sign you're going to see there. Kind of looks like an equal sign, but they're a little bit wavy. This means approximately. This means close to. So 5/6 is the closest to 1/2. So that's what you're going to fill in for that one right there. All right, so basically what you guys are going to be doing is drawing those number lines, graphing where that fraction fits, and telling me, is it closest to 0, 1/2, or 1/2? Let me take a look back at the second page and see if there's anything you need here. Aside from a really strange looking typo you'll see for number 16. In case you're having trouble reading that, since the 5 has moved over a little bit, this fraction for number 16 is 3/5. So just keep that in mind for number 16. The fraction is 3/5, okay? And I think that should take care of you for that part, because it's just asking you, is it closest to 0, 1/2, or 1/2? Good luck, and if you need any help, you can get a hold of me at mvaw123@gmail.com. Thanks, guys.